For today's episode, I want to talk about an issue that has always puzzled me, and it's in regards to the reckless use of our roadways in Jamaica by not only motorists, but by our pedestrians, our cyclists as well. And I just want to speak about the confusion I have as to why it seems so many of us do not regard the lives of others and don't even seem to regard our lives. So, we're going to talk about that in this episode. My name is Brianna, and this is the Independent Report. Welcome back once again to the Independent Report. Now, according to statistics from the Road Safety Unit, for 12 consecutive years, Jamaica's road fatalities have surpassed 300. So it's an ongoing trend, consistent trend. And like I said earlier, the use of our roadways has always been something that has completely baffled me. And I'll start first with how it's used by a lot of our motorists. I can't tell you the amount of times I have seen a motorist overtake, for example, around a corner. One time I even saw a motorist overtake a bus people around the corner. And I remember being in the vehicle and saying to myself, so I was in the vehicle behind the bus, and I was saying to myself, is this for real? Every time I see someone just completely disregard the road code, I always wonder to myself, did they go to driving school? Or if not that, were they taught by someone who actually knows to drive? Where did they get their learning from? Or did they just go in a vehicle, put the key in the ignition, step on the gas, and just drive the car? Because the way I see so many motorists handle the roadways, that's what I'm honestly led to believe, right? Overtaking any and anywhere. And I wonder to myself, do they not care about who's in the car with them? Because the time that I saw it around the corner, I think it was a taxi because there were other people in the vehicle. In the back, the front, I believe it had the stripes as well around it. And I'm like, is no one in the car saying anything to the driver? I remember several times taking a taxi and the driver is driving as if he has lost a few screws. And I literally say to him, listen, I'm too young. I'm too young. Or I'll say, you can slow down, please. Best believe I'm going to tell you to slow down. So, aren't people in the vehicle saying something to the drivers when they are like this? And then, don't the drivers have some form of conscience to say, you're going too fast? What if you lose control of this vehicle? Because during my time in driving school, I realized how easy it is to actually lose control of a vehicle. No, it didn't really happen to me. I didn't crash or anything. But I remember driving once along the highway and just realizing how one thought, a random thought, it could be, oh, look at that tree. Or it could be, I wonder what I'm going to eat for dinner later. And then that one thought, by the time you look at the vehicle, you're swaying a bit to the left or to the right. It's that easy. And upon coming to that realization, it further made me so puzzled as to why so many motorists drive the way they do. Because if you can lose control of the vehicle in the slightest so easily, imagine when you are going at high speed, which I've seen a lot of motorists do. And then what will happen to them sometimes is they'll be going so fast that they don't even realize a stoplight is coming up. And now they're trying to stop at the stoplight. So they brake so hard that the front of the car literally has gone over the stop line. And they are in the intersection of the roadway now. because they were moving so fast that they didn't have enough time to stop the vehicle. And people have said to me, when I say to them, you're driving too fast, or whatever the case may be, and they'll say, no, man, I can handle the vehicle. This is not fast. Listen, it doesn't matter how skilled you think you are. It's a vehicle, it's a machine. Something can happen to the brakes. Don't have that much trust in your vehicle, no matter how many times you've brought it to get it checked, no matter how new it is at the end of the day a machine. It's a machine. So you have to be so in control of it at all times. So, motorists, the first people I will speak on. And before I get into other groups, let me even share with you some stats from the Road Safety Unit. These stats are as of 2024, specifically an October 18 report that I'm seeing here says that pedestrians made up 18% of road fatalities in 2024. At the time, motorcyclists made up 33%, private motor vehicle drivers 17%, and private motor vehicle passengers 12%. Collectively, the most vulnerable road users, according to this report, pedestrians, pedal cyclists, motorcyclists, and pillion riders, accounted for 59% of all road deaths since the beginning of 2024. So, what does this lead us to understand? That it is a collective situation. So, it's not just on the motorists, because I have also seen motorcyclists do absolute nonsense on the roadways. I remember again another situation where I was in the vehicle with one of my coworkers at the time. And I believe we were going around the corner of Center Point Plaza, where Island Grill is in Montego Bay, St. James. And as we were going around the corner, there goes a motorcyclist trying to overtake us on the inside, right where that curve is on the roadway, where they had literally no space to overtake. And then before you know it, they hit into the car. I'm going to say they hit into the car because they were the ones overtaking in that. I won't even say narrow, that scrawny space. And when the motorcyclist, if I remember correctly, he had a pillion rider, the motorcyclist, he came off, him all look Bex. And in my head, me I say, sir, I never will looking at you, you know. Is you is you present yourself. This is your fault. But I'm even showing you how it will be the fault of a motorcyclist or a motorist or a pedestrian, and they will seem like they want to blame you. We've seen the videos. I remember one video in particular where a motorcyclist, he was doing some trick, because they're always doing these ridiculous tricks on the roadway. And in doing that, in the middle of one of these tricks, it led to him losing his life. He went straight into a vehicle. It was so sad to see how people can lose their lives over absolute foolishness. But as I mentioned, it's not just on the motorists and it's not just on the motorcyclists, but also pedestrians have a part to play in this. When a pedestrian walks out into the middle of the road and looks at the driver as if to say, you not see me? How dare you look as if you're going to drive on the road where cars drive, while I'm trying to walk in the middle of the road where there is no pedestrian crossing, when I haven't even waited for you to give me the signal that it's okay to cross? How dare you drive on the road? Carelessness. on the part of many pedestrians. Why not go to the pedestrian crossing? Or why not wait for the driver to give you the allowance to cross, which many of them do at times? Or why not wait for the traffic to come to a halt? Why not wait for the stoplight to bring the cars to a halt before you cross with your child, who many times I see them crossing with so ridiculously, with young children, no regard for the life of the child or their own, expecting the machine which the vehicle is to stop. What if the driver has a brake issue? What if he's going so fast, which he shouldn't be driving above a certain limit? True, but what if he is? And you're just going to step out into the roadway because you're so big and bad and you need to cross? So we're seeing how different groups all play a part in the reckless use of our roadways. I remember too, while in driving school, of course, you have to take into consideration the possibility that a car might reverse out onto the road or might pull out onto the road in front of your vehicle. So I have that in mind, but I also had to be cognizant of the fact that a pedestrian might just walk out into the road while I am driving. And I remember a particular situation where that did happen. I was a bit further off though, but I remember saying to myself, I bet you any money this person is going to walk out into the road. So said, so done. Of course, though, I was prepared, but it just goes to show how even motorists, many times, even though they contribute to road fatalities, sometimes we have it hard because you have to be focusing on how you are driving the vehicle, on how someone else is driving their vehicle, and pedestrians as well. You have to have your eyes all over the place. So, how are we going to deal with this issue? It's a collective effort that needs to take place. And of course, I cannot close the matter without speaking about this aspect of it. I don't want you to mix with me because I strive to be fair in all my independent report episodes. Of course, we have to mention as well the animals and the cows that have contributed to road fatalities, as well as the poor road conditions that have contributed to road fatalities. So many stories, too many, I'll say, too many stories have come out of cows in the roadway, especially when the roadway is poorly lit and it leading to the untimely passing of a motorist. And what has truly come of it? Poor road conditions that affect motorists as well, poorly lit roadways. You'll be driving on some roadways, and for about even 5 to 10 minutes, no light along the path for the motorists to see where they're going. All they have is their headlight and the headlights of the vehicle in front of them, if there's any, to guide them. And then we're not seeing the parties and the relevant authorities who are responsible for these issues. We're not seeing them do enough. When someone unfortunately passes, you hear a bunch of hurrah, and then it dies down. The 9-day wonder effect has plagued Jamaica for years. So while we're calling out motorists and pedestrians and motorcyclists, let's all call out as well the relevant authorities. Let us ensure that proper pressure is placed on NWA and other government entities to do their due diligence in ensuring our roadways are fit for use. That's all we ask. Is that too much to ask for? I don't think so. think I've said enough on the situation. What say you about it? Share your thoughts and share this episode as well. That's where I'm going to leave it for this topic right at this moment. Once again, my name is Brianna Vernon, and this was the Independent Report.